This audio presentation of Poise and Power by Christian D. Larson is brought to you by audioenlightenment.com. Copyright 2012, all rights reserved. A genius is slumbering in the subconscious of every mind. This genius can be awakened. Poise and Power. Whatever we wish to attain or accomplish, power is required. And it is our privilege as well as our desire to attain much and accomplish much. Any method through which we may increase our power will naturally receive our most direct and most thorough attention. The newest science of life has discovered such a method, and it is the purpose of the following pages to elucidate its principle and laws so perfectly that anyone can apply them with the greatest possible result. The method under consideration we shall call poise, because poise conserves energy, and conserved energy accumulates energy. The path to increase is to save what you now receive, and to constructively use what you have saved. This we accomplish through poise. When we attain poise, all the energy generated in the system is saved, that is, all loss and waste is prevented. This fact means much, so much that months of experience may be required to realize its import in full. Some conception of the value of being able to save all the energy generated in the system will be gained when we learn that the average person loses from 3/4 to 9/10 of his power. Even the mental giants in the world are actually wasting nearly 3/4 of the energy generated in their systems. The 1/4 which is saved and employed makes them great. Then what might they not become if they saved and employed all this power? The human personality may well be termed a living dynamo, because the amount of energy generated in the average healthy person is simply enormous. We may therefore predict great things for the race when the art of saving and using all this power is learned. But the importance of the subject does not end with attainment and achievement. In fact, the art of saving one's power is the value in every department of human activity. Modern physiological research has demonstrated conclusively that it is practically impossible for anyone to become sick so long as the system is full of energy. And it has traced the great majority of the ordinary human ills to one cause: lack of vital force. It is therefore evident that sickness could be wholly prevented had we some method through which all the energy generated in the system could be saved, because there is enough energy generated in the average person to perform several times as much physical or mental labor as the average person does perform. At the same time, he can keep the entire personality full to the brim with vital force. These are startling facts, and since poise will prevent all waste and loss of vital power, there can be nothing that is more important than the attainment of poise. When we enter the field of industry and witness the numerous failures of every hand, we find more evidence to prove that our subject is one which preserves the most profound attention, because it is not a large number of these failures due to lack of mental capacity, and is not mental incapacity almost invariably caused by lack of energy? When the system is full of energy, physical endurance and mental capacity will both increase, and the mind with its faculties and talents will be constantly pushed forward. The result cannot be otherwise than advancement and greater success. The energy generated in the system, when saved, will push the individual forward to higher attainments and greater achievements, even though nothing else be done to promote progress. Everybody knows through experience that nothing can hold down the person who is literally charged with enormous energies, and we are all being charged every hour with enormous energies, but we do not retain them. We let 9/10 of this power slip away because we have not acquired poise. Power simply must press on to greater things, and he who is full of power will positively enjoy the privilege of continuous advancement. Add to the possession of power the constructive use of power, and we have the real secret of greatness. Chapter 2. Poise may be defined as peace and power combined, a state of being wherefore you feel perfectly serene and exceedingly strong at the same time. Why peace and power must combine in the formation of poise is very evident when we realize that all disturbed action of power means loss of power. The mere act of being quiet, however, is not sufficient to prevent the loss of power. A quiet person is not any stronger than a restless or strenuous person. The fact that both peace and power may exist in the system at the same time does not prove that the person has poise, nor that any power is being saved. To acquire poise, peace and power must combine in consciousness and not simply exist side by side. A person may undertake to live the serene life and may become so quiet in mind that a large number of the faculties become dormant. During all this enormous time, energies are being generated in the system, but his peace has not been united with his power, therefore the power is lost. Power is saved and poise attained only when the energies of the system work in a state of calm. It will therefore be seen that practically all the mental and physical actions of the average person are wasteful. Even the three most valuable actions of mind in formation and advancement scatter forces to an extent that is startling. These three are ambition, enthusiasm, and determination, all indispensable, but most detrimental as ordinarily employed. The ambition that is not calm produces a stir in the mind by a letting loose of mighty forces. A sudden determination to do something remarkable is usually a similar phenomena, and is followed by reactions of "what's the use?" Periodical outbursts of enthusiasm belong in the same category, simply another way of getting rid of energy that we do not know how to hold on nor employ. When the natural enthusiast acquires poise and learns how to use his powers constructively, he will become a genius. All forms of nervous feeling and nervous action indicate a lack of poise, and are therefore channels through which a great deal of energy is lost. The phase of joy, which is usually called ecstasy, is another channel through which energy slips away, and the fact that practically all emotional minds run frequently into ecstasy makes the matter serious indeed. That we should lose energy by being happy may not be pleasant to think of, but since ecstasy is not true happiness, we are far better off without it. All forms of passion and nearly all ordinary expressions of love waste energy to a great degree. Another fact that may not seem altogether pleasant, but since no action of mind is true unless it is in poise, we do not love with true love unless we love in poise. When we learn to love in poise, we shall never return to the old, semi-insane, wasteful method, with its shallow, fleeting joys and its pang of misery and despair. When we love in poise, there is neither pain nor disappointment, and the joys are as deep as life itself. To desire in the present those things which we cannot gain possession of in the present is a cause of waste and loss that is practically without an equal. The reason is readily understood when we learn how universal is the habit of desiring what we cannot get. Why this habit wastes energy is due to the fact that whenever we desire anything, a great deal of force rushes to that origin in the body, or that faculty of the mind, that would be gratified should the desire to be granted. When a desire is not granted, all this energy finds itself on a fool's errand. There is nothing to act upon, and if the mind does not know how to transmute these energies and call them back into use elsewhere, they are lost. The habit of desiring what we cannot get must not be confounded with aspiration, or the desire for constant improvement, because in the latter we are daily working up towards the goal in view, while in the former we simply desire, doing nothing to reach what lies beyond. There is only one true course for desire, and that is the constant improvement of yourself. Such an attitude of mind gives all the energies of the system something to work for now, and the energies that are put to work are never lost. As the individual improves himself, better and better things will constantly come to him of themselves. He will not have to desire better things. He will daily attract better things, because he is daily becoming better. Chapter 3. One of the first essentials in the attainment of poise is to gain conscious control of the circulation, the object being to establish a perfect equilibrium among all the vital functions of the system. Poise is not possible so long as the circulation is too weak in some parts of the system and too strong in other parts. Therefore, the mind must learn to control and regulate the circulation according to the requirements of a balanced state. That the mind can increase or decrease the circulation in any part of the system is a well-known fact, and since a great deal can be gained through this accomplishment, every effort should be made to perfect it to the highest degree. To control the circulation of the mind should not use will force, but should concentrate with feeling upon that part of the body where an increase of the circulation is desired. When a decrease of the circulation is desired anywhere, attention should be directed to the opposite side or opposite extremity of the body. When you are in a keyed-up condition, too much blood is being drawn to the brain. The equilibrium of the system is disturbed, and you are entirely out of pose. The result is a great loss of energy, as well as the formation of a number of undesirable conditions. To overcome this condition, direct the entire attention upon the feet, and gently pass thought vibrations down through the body. Mind should feel deeply and serenely during this process, and should hold in consciousness the thoughts of accumulation. In a few minutes a balanced state will be realized, and a fullness of life will be felt throughout the system. There are a great many people who are keyed up nearly all the time, and there are many people who permit themselves to get into that state whenever anything extraordinary is about to transpire. But since the system is practically emptied of energy during such a state, no one can afford to permit even a slight tendency in that direction. When such tendencies are felt, they should be counteracted by gently passing the circulation down through the body. To hold the thought of accumulation during this process will prevent further loss at a time, because the energies always obey the desire of the predominant thought. When you are in a dull, stupid, inactive state, the system is out of balance and you are out of poise. To overcome this condition, the circulation should be gently and moderately drawn towards the brain, until a condition of increased activity is being felt throughout the system. To draw the circulation towards the brain, direct attention with deep feeling upon the back brain, and desire gently the force of the system to move upwards. A few minutes' practice is usually sufficient to restore normal activity. A dull condition of the system should never be permitted for a second, because it not only means loss of energy, but it indicates a disease of some kind is brewing. The threatening evil, however, can be nipped in the bud by the simple method just given. A condition of weakness indicates that the system has so completely lost its poise that it is unable to retain any of its power, and is consequently something which requires immediate attention. The remedy is to concentrate upon the abdominal region and cause the circulation to increase in the vital organs. Immediately this is done, there will be a sensation of returning strength, and if the process is continued at frequent intervals, the normal conditions will soon be restored. Though you may be too weak to get out of bed in the morning, at noon you will be strong enough to go to your work through the proper application of this method. When the circulation is in unbalanced condition, we should try to restore equilibrium by these methods, and after a little practice we shall find that we can increase or decrease the circulation in any part of the body by simply wishing to do so. In preserving the health, this accomplishment will be found of extreme value. In addition, we shall learn to remove a number of physical conditions through which energy is wasted and lost. Our object is to prevent all loss of energy. Therefore, we must remove every cause of such loss. An unbalanced circulation is one of the most serious of these causes. When we try to control the circulation, we shall find that we always have results during states of mind that are very deep in feeling and absolutely still. Therefore, when such states are realized, we should watch carefully the mental steps that were taken in bringing about that realization. We will thus discover a way of our own, which is always the best way. Results in the control of the circulation are indicated by an increase of warmth in that part of the body where our attention is directed, and also by a delicate sensation of energy accumulated in the same place. Though there are nearly a score of direct benefits to be derived from the conscious control of the circulation, our principal purpose in the application of this art should be to prepare the system for perfect poise, and the greater power which will positively follow. Chapter 4. Cultivate the calm attitude. Learn to pass through all kinds of experiences without deviating for a moment from the true state of living serenity. All forms of restlessness waste energy and must be overcome ere perfect poise can be attained. The same is true of everything that agitates mind or disturbs consciousness. It is possible to reach a state where nothing disturbs you, and it is possible to live constantly in that state while being in the very midst of the hustle and bustle of the industrial world. This state is not attained by a deadening of the sensibilities, because a mastery of the forces of life always causes the sensibilities to become finer and keener than ever before. You are consequently aware of everything, but disturbed by nothing. The harmony of your life is so deep, so positive, and so strong that discord cannot affect it. To attain this serene state, be absolutely quiet for 20 minutes every day or twice a day if possible. Do not simply be quiet. Try to feel a life in the power of the calm state. It is not the peace that is simply still that we seek, but the peace that is both strong and still. During this exercise, picture in mind the most perfect conception that you can form of the calm attitude, and mentally feel that you are in that attitude. After a few days, you will begin to become conscious of the serene state. This means that the serene state is being established in you. The value of mind picturing in this connection is very great, as it is in nearly everything that we accomplish in life. We may not have thought of it before, but the fact is that practically everything that has ever been done by man began in a mental picture. Mind picturing is rapidly becoming a great art, and those who neglect to study its principle will be left in the rear. Before you attempt to enter this quiet state, relax body and mind. Turn attention upon the depth of your being, knowing that the depth of your own being is still, absolutely still, just as the depth of the sea. After giving a few moments to the deep sounds within, give up your entire personality to the silent thought that will naturally follow, but never try hard to be quiet. The serene state comes through the absence of trying. We reach this state not by trying to be still, but by being still. In this connection, it is well to remember that the greatest capacity of mind comes from the strong, silent life force, and that this life force comes into expression only when we are in the calm attitude. The idea that one must become strenuous in order to do things should be eliminated completely, because it is the opposite to the truth. The mind that remains constantly in a serene state will do a great deal more work in a day than the mind that is strenuous, and what is better still, the serene mind will do better work and live much longer. The reason is that the serene mind not only saves its power for actual constructive work, but is also in touch with the depth of real life, and there is nothing that has greater power than real life. 20 minutes taken once or twice a day for the purpose of being absolutely quiet will, if properly employed, produce the calm attitude in a few weeks, after which it will be a second nature to be always serene. Every night before going to sleep, concentrate quietly upon the brain center for a few minutes. During this process, gently draw all the finer forces of the mind towards this center. The effect of this method is truly remarkable, not only in a general way, but in several particulars. All forms of nervousness can be cured with this method, and it has never been known to fail in the cure of insomnia. In its present help in the overcoming of all kinds of physical or mental disturbances, and can cure all kinds of aches and pains of the head almost instantly. It is a well-known fact that all kinds of nervousness, including nervous prostration, are produced by discordant vibrations in the nerve forces, and that all these nerve forces proceed from the brain center. Therefore, when a mental state of perfect peace and harmony is concentrated upon the brain center, the vibrations of the nerve forces will be made harmonious. The results will be relief in a few moments, with perfect harmony throughout the entire system. Nervousness wastes energy to an enormous extent. Therefore, if we wish to save our power, we must proceed to remove this condition at once. The method just presented will absolutely remove every trace of nervousness and is so simple that anyone can apply it correctly. The brain center may be located as a point midway between the opening of the ears, or at the point where the spinal cord unites with the brain. Nerve force is generated in the brain and passes from the brain to the spinal cord and thence to every part of the system. The condition of the vibrations of this nerve force is formed as the nerve force passes from the brain to the spinal cord, that is, at the brain center. Therefore, if we wish to change the vibrations of the nerve force, we must act upon the brain center. Remember, as the vibrations of the nerve forces are at the brain center, so will they be all through the system. It is therefore readily understood why nervousness will disappear from the entire system the very moment that peace and harmony are established at the brain center. When concentrating upon the brain center, the object should be to impress the calm attitude in such a way that stillness is established throughout the depth of mental action. That is, the entire center of the brain should be made calm to the very center of every atom. This is accomplished by concentrating calmly with deep, serene feeling. To gently draw the finer forces of mind towards the brain center at the time is absolutely necessary, because it is quiet action that produces peace. When forces are made to act in calmness, they will produce calmness in that place where they are directed to act. Should difficulty be met in the drawing the finer mental forces towards the brain, the cause is a lack of feeling. This may be corrected by gently thinking about these finer forces that permeate the substance of things. The mere thought of the finer forces will usually bring consciousness into touch with these forces, and whenever any force touches consciousness, it will follow the desire of attention without any effort being made in that direction. To enable a beginner to apply this method at once, he may associate this concentration with physical breathing. While inhaling with the lungs, make a gentle mental effort to draw the finer mental forces to the brain center. While exhaling with the lungs, let the finer mental forces pass down through the body. The physical breathing should be very quiet and easy, as well as deep and full. To combine in this way the physical breathing of oxygen with what might be called the mental breathing of finer energies is an exercise that cannot be equaled in value by anything that man can do. It is therefore the height of wisdom for everybody to learn this method perfectly and apply it constantly. The best time is in the evening after you have retired, because the process will make the entire system so perfectly calm and restful that a most delightful sleep will occur. The exercise, however, can be taken at any time during the day and should be taken whenever a tendency to nervousness is felt. Any adverse condition in the nervous system can, in this way, be nipped in the bud, and the amount of energy that will be saved will be simply remarkable. End of chapter.